All right, we're rolling. It's Freedom Feel, like, subscribe. Let's get into it. Today's topic is going to be something I've noticed. It's like whether it's the racial, gender, you know, sexual grievance culture, just grievance culture in general. I think it's a mental instability, and I'll be honest with it. I think it's a very childish way to look at the world, where common sense issues become some sort of issue, and they try to make it from that particular lens. Where are we going with this? Well, I'll explain. Freedom, fail, like, subscribe. Let's get into it. And always turn up the video speech. Be watching this when it uploads at 1.5. And also, once again, if you're a parent, you're just letting your kids watch my channel. I talk about some wild things. I swear, I talk real. So, that's on you. You're a bad parent if you're letting your kid just willy-nilly watch the internet. Let's get into it. I look at a situation when it comes to a lot of these issues. I was watching this video and this woman on the subway was losing her mind about some guys like, don't you I didn't say your dog could touch me. She's just going off, and like it's understandable. Hey man, I mean he was holding his dog in his arms and all that, or he or she. I couldn't really tell in that case, but yeah, who knows? Maybe the dog was on the ground. I don't know. Maybe she didn't want dog hair. She didn't want to be around the dog. That's fine. That's fine. But the way she gets loud and obnoxious, it's a very cultural thing, by the way. Kind of like if you ever deal with Latinos, and they'll be talking like foreigners, just in general. They will be talking extra loud, like ridiculously loud, in any situation, because they're like they can't understand us. So let's just talk as loud as possible. Just as a side note, one time I was in the bathroom taking a shit, and the guy next to me is using the neighboring toilet. Is this Russian guy? Is using it as basically saying, so I fake like I'm on the phone, but I'm taking a shit. And I'm like, yeah, and you got these foreigners in the bathroom using it as an office. Man taking a shit while brokering loads. I got a load for you. Hey, the guy got off the phone really quick. Oh yeah, what's that, Rushki? Oh, they're like, what? You're on the toilet? What the fuck? What type of business is this? But no, you see this sort of cultural, the way people react and act in society, and the woman's getting loud and obnoxious on the subway, and some white shit goes, why are you getting so loud? Like, like there's a reasonable volume, and she's like, what'd you say, vanilla? Instantly turning it racial. Like, mind you, I hate to say this, but you look at that woman, the black woman, and she literally looked like she had that female Shrek look going. Kind of had that nose, not allowed to talk about that nose, but she had that look, like a ebony Fiona from Shrek. You bitch, you're hitting the wall and you're just loud and obnoxious, and the world does not need this shit. But how do you get someone to eventually? She turned to what was a normal issue, like, hey, I don't want your dog touching me, and that's reasonable. Let's just say you don't like pets, you don't like animals, or maybe you just don't like dog hair. In fact, I want to be honest about this. There's a lot of you motherfuckers that want to pet my corgi. I look at you and I'm like, I don't know if I want you touching my dog. And some of you, the weird reaction, like when they look at my dog, oh, he's got such a cute butt. And I'm like, women do this shit all the time. And I'm like, imagine if guys walked around going, look at her butt. And some guys do, actually. And then we were like, well, that guy's a sex pest. Funny how we have a different standard when it comes to a fluffy corgi butt. Socially conditioned. But that's a side point. This lady takes a normal issue and turns it into a racial issue. And you have to think, why would you do that? And the reason you do that is because the reason she instantly went for this lever of control, this emotional racial war club, is because she thought she could control other people with it. And in the past, for a number of years, at least 2 decades, probably 25 years or more, like even like back into the mid-90s, they started doing this crap. More racial awareness. But I could argue like late 80s, somewhere in the 80s and the 90s, there was kind of a cool culture going into the 2000s where people just get along, have fun. Hey, that person's kind of a cool person, white, black, whatever. Let's have fun. Maybe they mingle parts and make a new person, And somewhere it was around Obama, if we're being honest about this, where it's like the Trayvon Martin, the guy that outside in Ferguson, the guy that got shot there, and a few other issues. And this is more, let's be honest, this wasn't a racial issue. This was a policing issue. This was a community issue. Your people commit lots of crime, and maybe we should go over some of that. And I mean, this is a white-black thing. This is a poverty thing. This is a poverty mentality thing. We could get into why people think this way. And it's a very childish mindset. You live in a community where there's a lot of single mothers, and maybe you know the daddy, maybe you don't. Maybe he's in prison, maybe he's in a pine box, maybe even just, I don't know who he was. So these kids are growing up without any sort of real normal stability they should have. And so you got people that are child parents, they're fucking children. And like, what do I mean by that? You've lived most of your life either on the system, off your parents, then on the system. You've been getting like you got your little milk bottle your whole goddamn life sucking off the tit. You have not had to adult up. The most you've had to adult up is to a teenage level. Well, I like having fun, and sex is fun, and food. I mean, that's not just a black thing. That is a white-black. That is an everybody thing, a substandard human thing. And when consequences come, what do children do? It's not my fault. Not my fault. Let me give you an example. Let's just say, for all you that are parents out there, or somebody that's held a job and you've seen some of these dummies, your parent tells the son, okay, son, I need you to mow the lawn, take out the garbage, and sweep this outside. And the daughter is told, okay, I need you to do this part of the laundry, cleaning the house, doing this while I'm taking care of things at work. And instead of doing that, they just get on the Nintendo Switch and the Xbox and they stare at the friggin' YouTube screen. They got a bunch of screens open, like, the gaming, the Minecraft, the Zelda, the whatever. You know, you had things you needed to do. And this is to get your allowance. This is also some of your requirements in your family. And what does the child do? I don't want to. That's uncomfortable. I don't like doing that. And then it gets to the point, like the first day, you're like, you let it slide. But then it gets, because it's like Thursday, and it gets to Friday. They still don't do it on Friday. And Saturday, we need money. We want to go out, hang out with our friends. No, you ain't hang out with your friends. You ain't getting no money. It's also, you could have mowed that lawn when it was cool out, but instead, you just fucked around and slept in. So you end up with a situation where, as a child, you're mowing the lawn in the sun acting like your parents are assholes because what you could have done when it was nice and cool out, or a day or so before, you now are dealing with late in the day. Acting like everybody else is an asshole. You are a stupid child. An irresponsible, impudent child. Just like with the kid, like, hey, to take out the garbage, do the lawn mowing. Hey, you do the laundry. We've been done working like 50 hours a week to feed this family. What the hell? You teenagers can't do nothing, right? And you put that on to adults. And a lot of times you see people that just don't want to do, don't perform, don't do this, and they all want to live high on the hog. They all want to live in the best. But then when it comes time to pay the piper, not my fault, not my fault. And this is where you see, like, if it's white people, like, I don't care whether it's your socialist or your welfare Republicans. It's the corporations. It's some other group. It's like, if it's a bunch of it's the white power structure and the corporations. If it's a bunch of white Republican, welfare Republicans, it'll be like, it's the banks. It's the people with the tiny hats, those people in the Middle East that control everything. And by the way, the leftists say that line too. Their fault, Palestine. If you're black, it's the white, it's the government, it's the corporations, it's the white man, it's anybody's fault but my own. If you're Latinos, well, some mixture of everything I've just said. If you're Native American, they took our land. Never mind, you're getting free houses and, free education, free this, free that. I mean, you people are some of the most subsidized groups I've ever seen. How are you fucking this up? And this comes down to what I've said for ages. The greediest people you ever meet are not the 1%. They're not. The 1% has an absurd amount of money to the point where it's just a joke of how much money they have. At some point, it's just numbers. You only occupy one room, you can only drive one car, and you can only do so much of this. You have to understand, yes, they have lots of money. But that really doesn't affect you that much. You, on the other hand, poor person in America with all the choices in the world, like, you could go to a trade school, you could become a nurse, you become an accountant, you become, figure out some way to do cheap college, like nighttime college or online college, become something. with all the opportunities in the world, much like those children that sit there. Oh, I don't want to mow the lawn. I don't want to do it. Oh. You are stuck. A lot of you people that use this grievance culture are stuck in a perpetual state of adolescence. Sex feel good and give me free stuff. I love Christmas. That's literally why a lot of you are where you're at. Just one more purchase away, and whether that's purchasing it with real money you had to earn, which makes you maybe think about it a bit more, or on credit. Is it the bank of mommy and daddy? Is it the bank of the government? Is it just taking out loans? Credit you can't really afford? Cars. I want this SUV. At the food bank the other day. It's a really nice SUV for someone that's starving and can't even speak English. Got a big family there. Where's that money coming from? That's interesting. Yeah. When people are now then faced with like they're acting a jackass, they're acting a fool, instead of actually facing themselves. And yes, there is some racism, there is some homophobia, and there is some issues. But if we're being real about it, it's actually very minuscule at this point. No, this is used as an emotional war club to control your enemies, because it's an excuse used instead of actually just owning up and doing what you got to do to become what you got to be. Why did the corporations go along with it? Because it was good for business. I mean, government money being flooded in from Obama or whoever. And, for a long time, that worked. Chinese money being filtered through American companies and then basically doing means of control. Why did your games suck? Why did your movies suck? Why does your TV suck? Why does a lot of stuff suck these days? Because these people got into control, and then it became, and this is kind of like, remember back with the witch burnings and the satanic panic, it gets to the point where you basically have to go along to get along, just like the times with Vietnam. Hey, just keep your head low and don't be a hero. You got how much in debt at home with the house, the car, the kids that you're just trying. By the way, you bought all this crap, and all this crap is part of the reason you're broke. But that's also why a lot of these people just went along to go along to get along. Now, what happened was eventually, partially due to Trump getting elected, not a Republican, the middle finger candidate, just like that guy that's now the mayor of New York, the Zandani guy. It's a middle finger candidate where people are so fed up they're voting for this other style of person. That was the beginning of it. When they started cracking down on that government money, you started noticing a lot of these corporations start going, yeah, we don't care. Target immediately was like, about face. We're not celebrating Pride Month. Wow. Amazing, right? Because at that point, they're now looking around going, yeah, we've really pissed off these people that we always assumed would come back and pay the bills, deal with the shit. We pissed them off so much, they're not coming back. They're now shopping somewhere else. So they're like, oh, about face, we're going to try to fix this. Even Walmart, you notice the price is starting to go down? Almost like we've been hosing you for how long on these food prices that now we actually got to lower prices because we're losing to other businesses. Now take that to the level of decades of racial grievance culture, the slow buildup. Hey, we're all trying to be taller. We're trying to be better people. And when you're trying to be a better person, but then being accused of the worst things like you're a fascist, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're white, you're evil. And your place is to be subservient to the new order. The new racial order of grievance. Oh, Black Shaniqua is on the top of it because she's a black lesbian with 26 children. Then it goes down at some point. Then the simping white women. And the white men that are trying to get the pussy of anybody. Yes, dear, yes, oh, strong and brave. People were always sick of that shit. And you know why? It's just like what happened with the religious right. Everybody having to go along to get along with a bunch of offensive, angry Karens. And now that the power is going the other way, all these people are surprised. Oh my God, our magic words don't work against you. Yeah. The only reason you had any power is because somebody else was acting in authority to ruin other people's lives. And you motherfuckers could just grow up and act like adults. Just take the reins of power in your own life and make it happen. But no. A lot of grievance culture, be it white, black, socialist, racial, LGBT, whatever. And by the way, I don't have a problem with any of these groups. But at the end of the day, a lot of you are just adult children that want to be like, Mommy, somebody else did it. No, you didn't do your chores. You didn't do what was necessary. And we're sick of having to change your fucking diapers. Just saying. That's why there's fatigue of all different sorts, whether it's black, all these other groups, and whatever. That's why it's happening. Freedom Phil, like, subscribe, take it easy.